Throughout my career, similar to you guys, I would have been as a junior golfer a high handicap golfer and then developed. I remember having a 18 handicap progressing to 11. I remember going from an 11 handicap progressing to 6. I really recall more recently, over my recent time, being a 6 to a +3. And that's how it tends to go. And I see this with my students. They'll have real drops and, drops in handicap and real sort of purple patches in performance. And then you hit a bit of a brick wall and then you improve. And then you hit a bit of a brick wall and you improve. Now, for me, when I started to get down to that +3 level, there were things that I was doing. And then when I was in and around that time, I remember my ball striking improved dramatically. And that was something that I was really kind of sort of known for. I used to hit quite a lot of fairways and quite a lot of greens in regulation. Probably wasn't the best in terms of my short game, but I was always good in being there or thereabouts. And the reason for that was because of my ball striking. Now, what I worked on with a more recent coach, right? He was somebody who was a Jim Hardy single plane instructor, okay, and that sort of train of thought at the time, which is still very much existent today. Sometimes like things like stack and tilt and these sort of different methodologies get spoken about, and all of these different methods, you got to remember, are just biomechanical movement, okay. So but the concept was with the pro that I worked with was to stay more centralized. Okay, and that was the thing that we used to try and work on. Now, I came from the old school sort of moving your upper body more over to your trail side and shifting more this way. And I'm not saying that we're going to move to the left. Okay, you should still, don't get lost in this video, I still have my weight pressure on my trail side, but the concept of staying more centralized made a big difference to me, because what it started to do is it started to give me the capability to improve my ball striking, and therefore I could compress the ball and I could swing more across the ball, which is what I'm going to share with you guys today. And that just gave me confidence. That meant I could stand on a tee and hit like a 2-iron and know that I was going to get a good strike every time, and that was never a concern of mine. So, like I said, I'm going to use an alignment stick here just to represent a couple of things. I'm going to draw some lines on the screen as well. So again, I was somebody who came from a history of getting set up, ball position fine, pretty central like so, and then I used to kind of move my upper body over towards my trail side like this, okay? Now, what we worked on was more of the feeling of staying more centered. So that was kind of, if you like, my head staying a lot stiller, more this type of position. Now, if you drew a line vertically through my lead hip, you can still see the way I've got a tilt. So I'm not literally vertical here. I don't want you guys practicing this and saying, oh, watch Russ's video, and he said, if I get completely vertical, because you won't, you'll get stuck from here. See the way I've still got my weight on my trail side, but I'm just not moving excessively. Okay, like so. Now the question would be, how are you guys going to do this? And what do I work on with my students I get the chance to work with now to get this same feeling? Well, you have to really think about what your arms are doing. Okay, so for me, when I used to try and feel this centralized movement, it really sort of brought into question what I was doing from a sequencing perspective. And what you need to do is you need to make sure, right, my head's going to stay pretty still, and I'm going to get the feeling of more of my arms being lifted up. Okay, so loads of golfers I work with don't really know this. They think they're supposed to turn really early, like so. And then if you start thinking I've got to do loads of body rotation, all it does is it drags you off in this direction. So what I want you to do, similar to myself now, a bit wider in the base, okay? A bit wider in the base, soften those legs so you feel like you're a little bit lower to the ground. And then I want you to practice this. I've talked about this drill recently, but I really like it. Take your trail hand off the club, tuck it up behind your lead hand like so. And then go into posture and use that trail hand. Keep your head still and use your trail hand to lift your arms up. Now your lower body will move, your chest will move, but the sequence in the golf swing is hands and arms, chest, then lower body. And this will give you a really strong resistance. Look at my trail side, it's resisting, and then from there I can hit down and through the golf ball. If I kind of used to move a bit more this way, then the likelihood is I might be more prone to hit up on the golf ball and I don't have as much control. And that made a massive difference. That was when I went from a good ball striker, I used to, be good, don't be wrong, but to somebody who could compress the ball. And that just made a massive difference. So to this day, I still feel very centralized. I still feel like my head stays very still, and I still feel like my backswing is a composition of lifting my arms into placement, and then from there I can swing down and around on the golf ball, which gives me to that ability to hit down like so and through. Work on it. I'll see you guys again really soon.